Hello, Eastmo debaters. My name's Gabe D'Antonio. I debated policy debate at Ladue High School for 4 years. And today I'm going to make a quick video about speaker positions and how to choose them. So this is hopefully useful if you're just new to policy debate and you're trying to figure out whether or not you want to be the affirmative or the negative captain. So we're going to start by talking about what we like to call the 2A or the affirmative captain. So the second affirmative speaker gives, of course, the second affirmative constructive and the second affirmative rebuttal, but then they also have to give the first negative constructive and the first negative rebuttal. When you're cross-examining as a 2A, you're going to do cross-examination of the 2NC when you're on affirmative, and you're going to do cross-examination of the 2AC when you're on negative. Now, don't worry about remembering that too much. You can just write this down pretty easily before your first tournament and make sure to have like a note card or an index card that you can check during the tournament to make sure that you're doing the right speech. But more importantly, the job of the affirmative speaker is one to write the affirmative cases. Even though you're not reading the 1AC, it's important that you're the one who writes it because you're giving both the 2AC and the 2AR, which are some of the meatiest speeches on the affirmative side. You need to fully understand the affirmative advocacy in order to give effective rebuttals and constructives. You should also be preparing affirmative blocks. Generally, that means 2AC blocks against disads. And you should be really good at one or two generic off-case positions. Because when you're giving a 1NR in a speech, you need to sort of often have a go-to argument. So, each year there might be one or two good generic disads. And if you can read that generic disad in the 1NR every single time, it doesn't matter that you don't have like a huge knowledge of the negative because you're only really going to have to read shells in the 1NC and then go 5 minutes on that specific off case in the 1NR. This is the position that I really liked it. I think it's a great way to dive into a topic to be the 2A or the affirmative captain. But if that doesn't appeal to you, you can always look at the 2N or the negative captain. This person gives the 1AC, the 2NC, the 1AR, and the 2NR. When they're cross-examining, they cross-examine the 1AC and the 1NC. And their job is one, to research all the affirmatives that you're not running, right? Because if you're the negative captain, you need to understand what you're going to do on negative against basically any affirmative. And you should be planning and creating negative strategies. So much like the 2A writes the 1AC, even though they didn't read it, you should plan the 1NC for your partner, ideally, and then they should just give it because it's you're the one who has the expertise on the negative strategy that you're going to be employing. So yeah, plan and create negative strategies and 1NCs for each other type of app. And you should be at least loosely familiar with the affirmative. Obviously, you should be able to read the 1AC in your sleep. And in the 1AR, quite a difficult speech, you need to be able to quickly draw out important points about the affirmative in order to answer the block. How do you choose a speaker position? Well, here's at least my thoughts about this. I think that if you want to be a 2A, generally you love delving deeply into just a few topics because you're going to be doing a lot of research for affirmatives, but not looking at the whole breadth of the topic. You're going to prefer making a few big strategic decisions that are more important because you're going to be crafting an affirmative strategy that will be used over and over and over again versus on the negative, making lots of smaller strategic choices. What negative strategy do we think is going to work well in this round? And then finally, if the idea of building and defending a specific policy is appealing, the 2A is a great place for you. 2N is obviously the opposite. You want to learn a wide variety of topics because you're going to be planning negative strategies against all the apps on the topic. You're making lots of little strategic decisions every single round rather than one big one like before a tournament. And you like the idea of picking apart policies instead of sort of defending them and building them up. If you're still confused, if you're not sure between those, don't worry. Pick randomly, then try a few tournaments. If you're not happy with that, try switching. Like, it's really not, especially with your first year of policy, that big of a deal if you switched off every single time. Later, yeah, you want to commit to one. But at the beginning, when you're not cutting that much evidence or even thinking too strategically, you're just sort of learning how to do policy debate, just try both and see which one you enjoy more. Hope this video was helpful. Thank you.